أجاوب عليكم. فإذا عنده أحد أي تساؤلات اللي بيدخل عبر اليوتيوب إنه يدرجها عبر صندوق الدردشة في الواتساب. اللي بيدخل عبر اليوتيوب إنه يدرجها عبر صندوق. تمام، إحنا هلأ الآن في بث مباشر أعتقد. أوكي. Okay, so welcome again. أهلا وسهلا فيكم مرة ثانية في هذه الجلسة عن التراجم. آخر جلسة, the last session we had on August 31st, we discussed how to improve or what are the techniques we are going to apply to improve our skills as interpreters. So some of these skills that are essential for an interpreter are shadowing, short and long-term memory, and chunking, among many other abilities and skills that are a plus if we acquire them. So this comes by time, by training and experience. So we are in the first steps, and once we get into this world of interpreting, we can know how these things are going to improve our skills gradually. So it's not a miracle. It demands a lot of working on ourselves and on our skills. So what do we understand by shadowing? What do you understand by shadowing? Anyone would like to read?
Yes.
Okay.
I think shadowing to repeat some text or dialogue to try to practice your English.
Sure. What do we mean? What's the word shadow meaning? Shadow.
I think like الظلال بالعربي.
الظلال. Okay. So we are acting in this case as a shadow. It's something like if the speaker, or an example when we have a video, and this thing I mentioned before in previous sessions, it's such as trying to make the interpretation as I'm making an interpretation while I'm not in an event or I'm not exercising at that moment the interpretation officially. So it's like when to train my memory, to train my brain to be able to make the interpretation at the same time for anything. We can do it, for example, when we are speaking daily with someone. And train my brain to mentally make the interpretation in any language I prefer. Because we have different languages, maybe we do practice or domain several languages. So it's some kind of a technique where we try to repeat what is said in another language. So is that clear? Anyone would like any other clarification about it?
Yes. Can I?
Yes, please. Your name, please, because it appears as iPhone.
Okay. أسماء.
يا هلا أسماء. Welcome.
Allah يسلمك. Yes, about shadowing. I know or I have an idea about this technique. It's like when we are listening to something or to text, and what do we need to do is to repeat after that one time or maybe many times. Even there is an app called Shadowing. In this app, you can click on the specific point to listen to a text, then you can repeat it many times. Then you can get the evaluation about your language pronunciation and the tone that you can use. I mean the intonation. So this is the meaning that I know about.
It's correct. It's correct. This is the first technique you start, and by the time you can be able to make such a simultaneous interpretation. So it depends a lot of how long you make this practice. And I don't need an application precisely. You can do it in all your daily life. So you can apply this technique on whatever you like. For example, now, if I'm looking to this text, and this is another kind of board interpretation, is when I'm looking to this text and I do the interpretation simultaneously into any other language. So this ability is going to be acquired, and we will see ourselves that it will become a part of our lives. So, for example, you can try reading this in Arabic, for example, or reading it in any other language you'd like to. So this is the part of board interpretation, which we're going to look at it at the end of this presentation if we have enough time for it. Mr. Hussain, do you have anything to add or to comment? Is it clear for you? Okay, we will continue. So, how can I practice the shadowing technique? How can we practice our shadowing technique? As our colleague just said before, there is some application. We can find a huge amount of videos and material nowadays, thanks to the AI and to networking. So we can choose some audio materials, any video you'd like, or any audio clip of a speaker with different accent. It's important to use different accents in order to practice. I would like to share with you a recent experience I had 2 days ago with the UPI meeting, 11th meeting conference. And we were struggling. There was about 6 cabins of interpreters. And even though we are professional interpreters with huge experience, nevertheless, we had so much difficulty with the accents and speed of the speakers. So it's important to practice different accents and different speed of a speech. Why do I say that? Because sometimes when you are in a conference, the speakers are tied to a timing. So when they try to get the 2 minutes allowed for them to make their speech or something like that, you have to run. And in these cases also we have another struggling or another barrier we may face, and is that sometimes when you have a language that you do not domain and you have to depend on another interpreter to make the relay, then you are transferring also his error, or if he can't make the interpretation accurately, you can't as well make the interpretation. So this is another aspect I would like to talk about. So to practice shadowing technique, and as we can see that most of the techniques are related one to other. So it depends to many skills. at 1. Select a video or clip of a speaker with an accent or speaking style you want to adopt. So here you have to select an audio, you have to select a video, or just whenever you are watching anything, any series, any film, anything on the TV or at the cinema or whatever, you can try to train your mind to the interpretation. So, as our colleague said, listen and repeat. So, method 1 is the delayed repetition, listening to a sentence or phrase, then pause and try to repeat. If I pause and try to repeat, then here I am also training the short memory, okay? So when you make a pause after a sentence and try to repeat it, we are training ourselves as well. Besides shadowing, we are training ourselves to what we call the short memory. Try to copy the speaker pronunciation, rhyme, and intonation, as our colleague just told us a few minutes ago. So the second method is what I told you before, and it's the real-time shadowing. So it's the second form is when I train myself to the simultaneous interpretation, not also to stop and repeat or stop and write down a note and take a note of what was said. It's a real-time shadowing, it's a real-time simultaneous. A real-time simultaneous interpretation. So once we are watching, I'm making the interpretation simultaneously. And how to focus on speech pattern. So we have to pay attention to how words are linked, the rise and fall of the voice, and the stressed words, not just the vocabulary. Sometimes we try to repeat and only run with repetition, and we are not aware about the intonation of the wording, on intonation, of how they try to express. Sometimes this intonation is so important to deliver the accurate message once we are realizing the interpretation, for example, for a speaker. So if he has a strong intonation and we are just repeating in another pace of speech, so the effect of the wording or the effect of the interpretation won't have the same impact on the audience. Is it clear, or would you like me to repeat it again? Or any clarification needed, please? Just open the mics. We are only 4 participants, so I'm ready to hear you.
No, we are, this point is clear.
Okay. Mr. Nama, I would like to ask you, have you ever had any experience in interpretation? Is it clear for you because it's your first time here with us?
Yeah, but I have a diploma in translation in at Abu Ghazala University in Georgia.
Okay. So you are aware. And do you have any working experience?
Yes, just 3 months as a training in office المترجم العربي.
Trainer. Okay. But interpretation as well?
No, I didn't have this experience because I didn't find this the link or the way to find my job.
Okay. No,
If
it's not too easy. For example, here we are only 2 interpreters in all the country here where I live now. 2 Arabic interpreters. Okay, so this is also to continue on the speech patterns, set the intention, decide what specific aspects of the speaker's voice you want to improve. And it's important here to be able to evaluate yourself is by recording yourself. You may try to do this with a certain video. You can decide a video of 3 to 5 minutes, for example, and try to work on it during a week, 10 days, whatever time it demands you. It's not important. The importance here is to overcome the difficulties you may face, overcome any problem of interpretation. So by training yourself on just one audio or video of 3 to 5 minutes and overcoming the difficulties you find yourself that you have, so you can improve yourself notably by repeating. So it's a demanding issue, and you have to work on yourself to be a better interpreter. It's not easy. Arabic interpreters are so, well, maybe with many other languages, but it's important, especially because Arabic is so difficult when it comes with any other, most of the other languages, when we say that English, French, Spanish, Latin, Italian, they are from the same family, while we have different structures, and sometimes when you wanna make the interpretation into Arabic or from Arabic to English, you may face different struggles. So, what are the benefits of shadowing? Anyone would like to open the mic, please, and try to read one of them or two of them and try to explain what you understood?
Yes, can I answer?
Yeah, sure.
We can improve our pronunciation and fluency, and we can develop listening skill and trying to make the difference between the rhythm between the vocabulary, and it gave us the confidence and to be training our tongue to this to new language.
Exactly. As I said before, of course, during our 15 previous sessions, I just told you that confidence in yourself is so important to be able to be a simultaneous interpreter. Why do you think is this so important? Especially if you are facing a conference as a conference interpreter.
As
Anyone?
you said, it's training our head to observe the new language and to set in our mind the new language, I think.
Okay, I guess you misunderstood my question. Why should I be confident with myself and strong enough? How can I be that strong enough to be a simultaneous interpreter? If you think you're not confident enough, can you be a simultaneous interpreter?
I think no, I can't.
Okay. Yes.
We should be confident in ourselves.
Okay. Why is that important, Nama? Nama, is that right?
Yeah, I think if you feel confidence, you can reach it for the speech, the other one who listened to you, and when you was confident, that reflects on other side, and he feel you are approved in English in your language, and he feel that you are in confidence, and he will arguing with you the same level.
Okay, great. Well, as I told you 2 days ago, I was in a certain conference where we have seven cabins of interpreters, and we have the opportunity to work with two unknown colleagues that came with the same delegations. One of them were from from Iran, and the other one from Russia. So sometimes we face or we have to work with someone we never worked with. When you work with a colleague you're accustomed to work with, it's so easy and you can understand yourself due to the experience of working together. Nevertheless, when you face or you have a new colleague or someone you have never met before, what will happen? If you commit an error, if something bad happened, how can I act if I lose this confidence or if I'm not trained enough or have the sufficient skills to come over any conflictive situation? So, the first of all, these are important to improve. What we are seeing now is some techniques that will help us to improve our memory, to improve our ability skills for interpretation. But if we are not self-confident, we may be stopped whenever we have any struggling issues. For example, if we are not aware what the person is going to say, or if we run out of time, because in simultaneous interpreting, you only have 7 seconds of difference for starting the interpretation. So these 7 seconds are a lot. These 7 seconds, I'm not talking about minutes, means a lot for your interpretation to be fluent and to continue smoothly. So, if you miss or you stop for any reason, you are losing the main idea. And this is what we are going to develop in few minutes on how to practice our short and large memories. Okay, so it's important. Another thing about shadowing, about chunking, which is it's a great part and a great skill to use, not only for interpreting, but for many other things, but it helps you a lot to transmit the idea. So what are the difference when I'm making the translation and interpretation? Again, I will repeat it on how do I difference. When I'm making and this is I want to specify right now, even though I talked about it several times in my previous sessions, it's because sometimes a person might be a translator, but it's not adequate or can't can't have all the abilities to be interpreter. And as I say again and again, interpretation doesn't mean that I must be perfect during my interpretation or the word translation I'm making at the same time, because what is needed is to deliver the accurate idea. So sometimes I do not need to use the technical wording, because according to many experiences I've had, as well as my other colleagues, because we always comment our experiences, we always give feedback to each other, and this enriches our experiences. Learning from each other whatever it is enriching our experiences. So the idea here, sometimes we don't have the accurate wording or the accurate technical wording. So if I'm going to stop, then I'm losing most of the idea, especially if the speaker is running. So if I stop even for a minute or just to ask my colleague to give me a word, then I'm losing time and will be getting in a how to say it. For example, I'm getting into a critical situation that maybe will affect the quality of my simultaneous interpretation. Okay? Is it clear? Somebody would like any more clarification?
No, it's clear.
Okay. So I've changed the design of the PPT, so that's why there's somehow a mix of things. So chunking. What's the meaning of chunking? In Arabic, you may say it if you'd like. What is chunking?
I think the switch into the period when you translate and you stuck in some word.
Okay. Chunking, it's like cutting. زي اللي بيكسر بنحكي بالعربي. Okay? Chunking. So chunking is a technique used to analyze and understand how information is organized and processed. So it's like dividing a whole text or whole idea into smaller ideas or groups that will help me to better understand the idea. It involves breaking down complex information into smaller, manageable units or chunks, as we say. And these chunks may be words, may be phrases, concepts, ideas, depending on the context I'm working with. So, the interpretation of these chunks relies on understanding the relationship between them. Effective chunking facilitates better comprehension, memory, and overall cognitive efficiency. It's applied in various fields, including linguistics, psychology, and artificial intelligence, to decode meaning and process complex data. For example, anyone of you do use artificial intelligence? Have you ever applied the artificial intelligence on your daily basis on any information? I think I'm with Naiman today only.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, smart talking. Yeah. You mean, for example, ChatGPT?
For example, yes.
Yeah. We ask there, and we get the answer. And
Okay. Do you think this
even,
answer is accurate?
yeah,
Are you sure?
not always. Sometimes, he understands our speech in different way, not the exact word. I
Okay.
mean,
So what do you
yeah,
do? So what do you do for that when you have you administrate some information to the AI and it provide you with not unexact information?
yeah. I change the way of my question. maybe write it in another way.
Exactly.
Yeah. In this way,
Exactly.
I can get the exact information or the exact answer.
Exactly. Thank you,
Yeah.
Asma.
Welcome.
So this is also applied for interpreters. Most most of the time, and not always, you ask your client for the information. So it's so important to prepare yourself based on the information you have, either by reading it all or either making your own glossary upon the topic or whatever you'd like to. So based on that, you may chunk the information, divide it into several items. Or for example, this during this morning, these articles are going to be done in the evening, etc., etc. Even we do prepare our glossary, or even if we prepare ourselves reading and training ourselves to many of the wordings, we sometimes face some difficulties because when this word comes, maybe we don't have the accurate word at the moment. Even it's an easy word. Sometimes you may find an experienced interpreter with over than 40 years of experience, 40 and not 14. And even though he must have his glossary or her glossary, and some wording doesn't come to our minds at the moment. Even in the daily life, sometimes as happened a few minutes ago, I was trying to get a certain word and so what should I do? Should I be blocked and stop the interpretation? Effectively not. I have to manage any way to continue delivering the idea without stopping. Without stopping. Okay? This is during simultaneous interpretation. Consecutive interpretation has its particularities, but simultaneous interpretation is somehow more complicated, so we can't stop. So how chunking will help us to divide the ideas? If I have an idea of the item, of what they are speaking about, of what they are talking about, I somehow can imagine or have an idea on what are they going to speak or to talk about. So here we rely in different aspects, and this will help us to elaborate or to deliver a better interpretation once we prepare ourselves. Okay? This also is helpful for studying and is applied. I wonder if any one of you have applied this methodology to understand some issues. And I guess most of us had done this, has applied this technique while studying. When we used to be at the school, sometimes we write down certain notes of the most important ideas, most important things based, for example, on subject. And this is a kind of chunking. Here I will be sharing with you some videos about chunking, and you can have access to them to see them later. That will enrich the subject about chunking for interpret. So, again, chunking is breaking speech into sense units, several units. It will help us to have clarity, less overload natural flow, and make the interpretation by ideas and not words. This is most important in interpretation. I'm not obligated to translate a word by word. I have to deliver an idea and not word by word, not missing any word, but to deliver an idea, even with simple words, but I must deliver the idea. So to practice chunking drill, have to listen to short speeches and identify ideas, chunking the information. So how do we chunk techniques? By sense unit, by connectors, intonation cues, or categories. Okay, so this is what we have resumed while talking previously. Now we are going to talk about memory. Does memory matters for an interpreter? Well, I guess it's important to all of us, whether or not we are interpreters. So, memory is the interpreter's backbone. If I don't recall, if I don't have enough memory to recall the vocabulary, the glossary, the inner dictionary I have in my brain, so I'm going to face certain problems. And how to improve this memory? How we can improve our memory? How we can maintain our memory? Because we know by the passing of our lives, somehow people start to lose memory. But nevertheless, if we want to remain active, we must have an active memory. And by the way, one of these videos I'm introducing within the PPT is how to have an active memory, how to train myself to have an active memory. What do you do in your daily life to make your memory or make your brain active? Can you please share with me your insights about how you try to keep your mind or keep your memory active? I would like to hear all, not only Asma and Nama.
I think when you try to repeat the word, that's a sign you wouldn't forget it. So you must training all the time, especially on the linking word, especially because when you use linking word, you can choose another different meaning, different word at the same meaning.
Exactly. That's right, Nama. Thank you. This is one of the ways. You mean with the synonyms?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a great point from your side, Naima, because when we must have different synonyms of words, we amplify our vocabulary in a way or another. Nevertheless, especially in Arabic language, we may find that the synonyms, each of them, have different effects on the meaning. Sometimes the meaning or the synonym have a stronger effect on the wording. Effectively, it's important because sometimes I have to find this strongest meaning. I do know this word, but then the word that is needed to be used is somehow another synonym which have a strongest effect or strongest meaning. This is one of these aspects. Nevertheless, for one of the most important thing for a person and for interpreters, and this is a great advice from a great friend of mine, called Muhammad. He's a Moroccan. And this is one of the tips he gave me about 15 years ago. To be able to never forget a language and to continue practicing and opening your mind is to read. Reading and hearing in the other language will improve us and will help us to never lose this language. I wonder if one of you used to speak another language and by the passing time due to non-usage of the language has forgotten it. Do you think this is applied or is not applied to us? Any one of you has learned any language while a child and forgot about it because due to unuse of the language?
No.
Oh,
Yes, sure.
welcome, Dina.
Welcome, Dr. Rania.
Nice
How
to
are you
have
doing?
you again. Fine, thank you.
I'm so sorry to come so late because I was out of home.
Don't worry, don't worry. The importance is
Uh,
that you come. Thank you for
thank you.
coming.
Regarding to your question, of course, we have been taught before second languages, and we were enforced to learn these languages. For example, the French language.
Yes.
Actually, we studied that just because of we want to pass the exams and get high scores. Regardless if we love that language or not, or if we are gonna keep working on that or acquiring that language or not. But of course, because we don't have any passion to learn that language, or we forgot about it completely 100% since we attended the exams and we finished the
We
exams.
don't make use of it. That's because you don't make use of it. Because
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
don't have passion, if you don't have passion, you won't ever learn it. Believe me. Even you learn it just for the note or something. It's not what exactly you have said, Dina. Maybe you have learned it, but you don't have the passion for it. But nevertheless, believe me that in your inner brain, you still have all the information. And if you go, for example, for a week to a France or any other Franco-speaking country, believe it or not, you'll start recalling and maybe speaking it again.
Actually, I wish I could study another language. I have been trying to study a German language, but I was completely a failure because it has different alphabetical pronunciation and writing. But nowadays I'm start learning Spanish, and I found it's much easier than the English and even the Arabic language.
I agree with you because the core of the language is Arabic language, is Arabic word, and the other is English word.
Well, Nama,
It's
by
make
the
you
way, the
easier
Spanish
to
language
learn
is
Spanish.
my other second mother tongue, by the way. And I guess
Oh,
Dina, do you know that?
graduation.
The Spanish, as you said, it's not an Arabic. The Spanish is another Latin root language, as the French, as the English, as the Italian.
But I find, sorry for interrupting you, but I think when I study Spanish, I see more than 15 words in Arabic.
Well,
Like,
yes, sure. It has about 4,000, more than 4,000 words from Arabic basis.
yeah,
Yeah. It's right. But if you have the French as a base, Dina, even if you don't want to admit it, it has helped you to better understand the Spanish. Because it's the same as Spanish, but it has some differences between the pronunciation with the
Do you
Spanish letter.
think there is the same roots?
They are from the same root, but what I'm telling you is that they are linked some way in the same. They are the same, but the pronunciation is somehow different. Even they have the same grammar structure.
Yeah, the matter is not about the grammar structure. I'm talking about that the word, the letter itself has the same pronunciation. Just we can shift it a little to make that sound of the Spanish language.
Yes,
It is not
Or
a big
a
because you
little
have to read
different, yeah.
You have to read each letter. That's all in Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's why
it's
letter
easy
is
to read it.
read.
Yeah, it's easy to read it.
It's easy to read. Yes. So to practice our memories, it's so important to keep on reading because it will help us to improve our writing structures, improve our linguistic abilities, and to keep our brain active. So it's so important for the interpreter because once you are reading, you're improving as a translator on how to structure your writing. Because if you can see, besides writing, besides learning all the structures, all the linguistic styles, whatever you may have learned, seeing another books, another stylist will improve, and in our conscious brain, we are training ourselves to improve our writing or to improve our skills. We shouldn't be overloaded because when you are overloaded, you commit errors. When you are overloaded, overwhelmed with many tasks, you are susceptible to committing errors. And the interpretation is a real-time process, as we said. So the short-term versus long-term memory. The short-term is 7 plus or per 2 chunks. Seconds. As you remember, I told you 7 or maximum 9 seconds make a huge difference when I have to make an interpretation. And the long-term memory is reinforced through practice. So the only way to reinforce my long-term practice is, for example, from time to time, reading the same book, looking back to some interpretation or translation documentation I had, and I think if you try from time to time to reevaluate or retranslate any document you have made before, you'll find yourself automatically changing the text. So, and the bridge. What do we mean with the bridge?
the tool that we can link our, we can say, memory to be in practice or in delivering the message of the interpretation.
Yes, exactly. About a year ago, I've had
Okay.
a very lovely teacher. who during the training when we was having Portuguese classes, I'm trying to learn Portuguese as well. So she started working with us the short-term memory. And I remember she told us, even you are saying that you already know a lot, sometimes at that moment you can find some, what we say it, fajawat, tagarat. Somebody would like to join it in English?
Gaps?
Gaps. Thank you. Thank you, Huda. So sometimes we have ourselves with some gaps or lakes due to overwhelming or being overloaded with many tasks. So it's important as interpreters to not get overloaded with things, especially when you have a conference or something like that. You have to prepare yourself with the adequate timing so you won't get overloaded at the last minute. So here we have to rehear and active recall. For example, we can try to hear something and stop it after 2-3 minutes and try to recall what I see, for example, nowadays with my little daughter. For example, I would like to share it with you, is that the teacher give them a certain text, and the last question she asked is giving them 4 or 5 sentences, and this may be applied to us. This is why I'm sharing it with you, because while talking about that, I remember this and find out that it is a kind of training your brain for short or long-term memory. So what this teacher is giving these little kids is to read a text, and then she's sharing 4 sentences or 4 paragraphs where she's sharing 4 small ideas of the text and ask the children to order them on how did they figure in the text, the order they figured in the text. So it's a kind of training your brain or a storm braining on how to remember the sequence of the events and how they happened. So I'm sharing this with you so you may apply it on training your memory or training your brain on the short or long-term memory. For example, read a paper and try to write down, for example, what you remember on the issues and the sequence of the event and how they happened. And then compare it with the text again to find out if you recall it correctly or not.
Doctor, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Is it for the sight interpretation or consecutive or simultaneous?
Well, mostly it helps you for all of them. Because sight interpretation, you don't have enough time, I guess, because you're joining someone. Depends on each case is separate, Dina, because, for example, when you are, for example, on Thursday till Friday, I have another event where I'm asked, for example, on Thursday to be with the speakers just to insight interpretation, and then we'll pass to simultaneous interpretation. So in all cases, you should apply this. For example, insight interpretation, you don't have, mostly you don't have where to write because you're walking with the person. And I wonder if you have a notebook or something to write down. So I'm not sure you do have this ability to do it. During consecutive interpretation, it may apply because you should take notes in some cases. And remember, we talked about note-taking before.
So I don't think that I attended with you note-taking skills before. Did you talk about that?
Yes, you have
Yeah,
all
okay.
all the recordings. I will share it again here with this recording as well. So you can go
Yes, thank you.
back to all the sessions. They are all in YouTube, as you mentioned during the monthly meeting. So you can get access to them. You can review them. The first sessions were about 2.5 hours, something like that. So we have talked deeply about all the skills. So in some cases we
Okay,
are
thank you.
repeating, and as I always said, you may look for any video. You may search or watch whenever you'd like the videos. And if you have any comments or anything that wasn't clear for you, you can come back to me. You can text me on WhatsApp, and you may suggest any topic you'd like to talk about, or would you like me to repeat again. So feel free, please, to review all the videos whenever you have enough time to. As Dina, I guess you said during the monthly, I'm not sure if it was you, that you are hearing my presentations on YouTube while
Yeah,
driving your.
actually, I checked some of the videos. Yeah, I told you that I'm gonna check the videos of the interpretation, but I think there is no a link talking about the
Okay,
note-taking
so you as
skills.
well can put them because they are on YouTube. They are all in YouTube. They are not public, so you have the links to have the admission to the whoever have the link can get the access to the presentation. So they are I will check with you. Let me please check the previous interpretation. Let me check it out, please. Polyglot 2025. Okay. Okay, this is the previous interpretation session we had on August 31st. So the last one, the last slide, you can find all the interpretation sessions we have from 1 to 16, and this is number 17. Today is number 17. So you can access one by one, and they have the same order of how we presented them. So this is the first session, second session, third session, fourth session, fifth session, etc. So in the last slide here, you can have all the interpretation session that I have provided before, and we'll add the today's session as well here. And once you can open them, you can add them to a list on your YouTube channel, and then you can just put them and it automatically will deliver them all. I will try in a way or another to add them in a list and share the whole list with you so you can access them one by one. So hopefully you can watch them whenever you can. So
Thank you, Doctor. That's kind of you.
you're welcome, Nama. So as I say again, you can watch them. And if you have any doubt, any question that may arise, please let me know. Or if you'd like me to talk about a specific topic, just let me know. You all have my phone number, I guess. And you can contact me whenever you like. Sorry, I have, thank a bunch. Thank you, Huda. Just see the comments on the text. So again, I'm going to share with you my phone number if you don't have it, and feel free to contact me whenever you need. I have just dropped it in the chat box. If you'd like to copy it. So, again,
I
about
take
short.
screenshot. I take a screenshot. That's enough.
Yes. Well, don't worry, I will share with you, Nema. Just please send me a message and I will share again the links with you if you'd like to.
Yes, I would like that.
Yes, because you're new here with me and I can't search the names. I only have numbers within the polyglot group. So
Okay. I will send you a message.
I guess I shared with you the link on the polyglot WhatsApp group, so you can find my name, my number there. You can add me and write to me whenever you can, whenever you want, whenever you need.
Okay, don't worry.
Dr. Rania, I wonder if you explained note-taking skill regarding to the how to take notes in a specific way and the structure of taking notes, because it's a very important topic,
Yes,
I guess.
I talked about it a lot, and I provide you with several YouTube links. I also send a link to a training platform where they have inclusively PDF booklets on certain international note-takings. For example, images and how to apply them. Besides, you have your own strategies to take notes. But yes, I have talked about it. I'm not sure in which session.
Yeah.
I will search the PPTs and will let you know, Dina. Please write me privately so I can provide you with this information.
Thank you, Dr. Rania. Thank you for your time as well.
No, you're welcome, Dina. I'm here to help. So, here are some videos that you can apply about short-term memories. And as I said, long-term memory needs training, and it will improve by the time on how much you exercise your brain, because it's not just a short term. For a long-term memory, it's helping reading, making many practices to keep your mind active, or also from time to time to reread, for example, a book, to make you, for example, in my case, I'm not sure if this is something from God, but thanks to God, if, for example, if I read a book, I can recall all what it talks about. So in my case, I didn't used to reread a book, but nowadays, on my age, I'm going to be 50. So sometimes our memory somehow is affected, especially if you have a stressed life. And nowadays we all suffer a stressed life due to the time we are living in. So we have to try to reduce these effects of stress that in a kind or another affects our brain capabilities. So building thematic glossaries, it's like if I read a book and try to write down the new words, for example, it's like making your own glossary in different topics. Make spaced repetition is when I said to reread a book of interest or a story you want. Recall practice across domains. Practicing is several activities, practicing reading, memory. Someone said getting synonyms. So these are many of the practices that help us to maintain a long-term memory. So how can I improve my simultaneous skills? And with this, I will end, I guess, because to talk about board interpretation, we'll discuss it next time. And I would like to hear from you on which subjects or which topics you would like me to mention or to prepare for our next session. So, improving simultaneous skills by some anticipation strategies. How do we have anticipation strategies? For example, as I told you, 2 days ago, I have a certain international conference, but unfortunately, they didn't provide us with the material until the 1 day previous to the event. They provide us a drive full of information, and we didn't have enough time. So it demands, on my case, I stayed reading and had made a short glossary of all the documentation provided because I didn't have enough time. Nevertheless, for example, if I am aware of an event of interpretation with a week or 2 weeks, and the client doesn't provide me with much information, especially for this case when sometimes it's about politics or any other circumstances where they don't want to share sensible information, what I should do is to search the media, to search for something. For example, if they just give me the name of the event or something about that, I should look for previous conferences to search about this company, as I said in previous presentations, to search about the company, to search about the speaker. For example, if we're talking about Angelina Jolie, that she's going to have a certain presentation to tell as a representative of the ONU or something like that. So I must look for something about her. This will help me. For example, if I have the profile of the speaker, this will help me to take an idea of how this person is thinking. For example, if you are asked about Trump nowadays, you will make yourself an idea of how this man is thinking, how he is speaking, how is his speech. Maybe watching several videos of him, we can find out. I didn't ever look about his videos, but it can help me to find out some repetitive wording or expression that he used most during his presentations or his interviews, etc. So this will give me some kind of a feedback that will help me in a way or another to prepare myself for the interpretation. Active listening. Active listening. Nowadays, sometimes if you are in this career, you will find yourself that you can concentrate on several tasks at the once. For example, you can concentrate on what you are reading while you are aware of what's going around you and your ears are with another thing. So these things are the active listening will help you to domain different accent, to be concentrated on what you're hearing. And for example, as I told you once, when you are practicing simultaneous interpretation, sometimes it's important to close your eyes to just put yourself in a closed circle where you are just trying to concentrate on what you're hearing and just speaking. So to avoid some in a way or another, the external, as I say, I will say it in Arabic.
Distraction. Yeah.
Distractions. Thank you. So these will help you in a way and another, because the abilities of any interpreter is different from one to another. So, for example, my colleague, I can't nowadays, I don't share with her any written notes. I just told her the wording when she gets struggled with any wording. I just drop it talking, because whenever I write them down for her, she is more distracted. So it's important on how to struggle and overcome any barrier you may face while realizing simultaneous interpretation, and this comes by training yourself and by experience. Another thing is note taking through keywords and symbols. So again, Dina, to what you have asked me before, yes, we had talked about it. I wonder if it was 1 or 2 sessions that we talked about note taking. I shared a lot of material on it. So there is an international signs. For example, when you use the dollar sign, everyone who sees the dollar sign do know what is the dollar sign or not. Do you or not? You don't understand the dollar sign?
Yeah. لا, we,
Yeah,
we
we know
understand it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know all the
Yeah.
symbols.
So there is many other symbols or some keywords that may help you. For example, etc. It's etc. Or any other things like that.
Do
So
we
there.
have some dictionaries? Do we have some dictionaries,
Yes,
or we can
yes,
say glossary?
I shared. Let me check them out. That's why I told you, please write me privately so I can share them again. I will try to check out the presentation and remember in which session was it. And yes, I do have a booklet. I shared a booklet on it. And by the way, you also can develop your own symbols and keywords. For example, I do use TY as thank you. For example, for me, I do understand it's thank you. So you also can develop your own interpretation, your note taking. It's a known word that you can understand. So there is some international wording, there is some international symbols, but you can add your own as well, because it's your note taking. It's something that you take, and you can train yourself on some wording that will help you on how to prepare your note taking. This especially is applicable, especially when you're in consecutive interpretation. Also in simultaneous, sometimes you write down, but believe me, when you are in a simultaneous interpretation, you don't have time to write down or to look on your notes. You should only be realizing the interpreting. You should
Uh,
be interpreting.
Sorry for interruption. I have a question about a piece of information I read before, and as a matter of fact, because I've never tried or I've never experienced being an interpreter before, but I'm preparing myself. I read that about the note taking. If you have already your own symbols and you try to use them while you are interpreting, never use an invented symbol at the moment. You have to get
Yes.
used to use that one. Have you ever practiced that?
Exactly. Because if you write down, it's a new one, and you don't use it, you may say, what does that mean? I don't recall what I wrote. So effectively, what you said, Dina, is correct. So, and as I said before, it's only for consecutive interpretation, because if you try to reread note taking in simultaneous interpretation, you are lost in your interpretation process. And the most important thing is stress management. We have to train ourselves on how to manage stress and how to come over certain difficulties that we may face. So here is another video also on how to improve your simultaneous skills. And as I said previously, we will stop now and we'll take the board interpretation for our next session. I would like to hear from you if you have any suggestions, any comments, anything you'd like me to talk about in our next session. So please open the mic and I'm ready to hear you.
I think that if we had discussed before the kinds of interpretation like side, consecutive, or simultaneous, why shouldn't we try to practice during the session, or we can say at the beginning of a session, practice some, yeah,
Okay.
for example,
Thank you,
yeah.
Dina. Well, about 3 sessions before we started this, but unfortunately, this is one of the things that somehow is upsetting or it doesn't help us, is that every time we have new persons and some are new. So to start training, I need the same persons and a commitment. Because if we are going to train and each time I'm going to train the same for new people, it somehow will take a lot of time. So that's why I need, as I said to Mr. Firas, I need a commitment. I don't know how many people we do have in the group, but most of the time we only have 4 to 5 persons in my sessions. So I hope to have more participation because, as I said, I would like to train you, and I love to train you, and I want to make some simultaneous interpretation training, and I can assign some of you as interpreters in order to make the simultaneous interpretation, which is the same as being in a booth, and we can. I prefer when we have these training sessions to be private sessions because we can't make them public. We can't make them public because we should. What I need is that to hear your voices, and to practice between each other on the mistakes and how to come over these mistakes. So these sessions won't be public because we are training ourselves. So hopefully, I hope to start these by the end of the month. So I hope to have the commitment, and I would like to know who would like to be in these training sessions in order to provide you with a certain material to prepare yourselves as indicated during our previous sessions, and to start the interpretation, the simultaneous interpretation, and discuss with each other. Here we are not going to criticize, to make, we are trying to make constructive comments on how to improve ourselves. So I know, Dina, you want, and I hope to know who else would like to train himself or herself on the interpretation. And what I need from you is commitment. So
yeah, I promise I will attend that session from the beginning, but just to know or to alarm us on WhatsApp group a day before, because you said that you are going to send us some material to prepare ourselves.
yes,
So that's why we should be ready.
yes, it's a kind of preparing, the same as if you're going to be in a simultaneous interpretation. Whenever you have an interpretation, one should provide you with the material to prepare yourself. So we are going to try with a text and we are going to try with a video. I will look for a video with a regular pace of speech, so you can start with the simultaneous interpretation with a good pace of sound. It's not so quick, so you can train yourself by the time. So Dina and Asma and Huda. Okay, so let's start next week. I will provide you on Friday with the material. So you have 2 days to prepare yourselves. And the last 13 minutes will be practicing the interpretation. Is it okay?
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yes.
Okay. Any other comments? Any other topic or any other thing you'd like to talk? Because I guess during these 17 sessions, we have talked all about training. And as you said, Dina, I guess it's time to practice, to apply what was learned. So, any other comments before ending this session?
Thank you for your time, and thank you for exerting that much effort for us. Actually, there are no words to describe how we appreciate your time and effort. You're doing good deeds, learning and teaching people already in need, because when you are searching about that rare field, you're going to get sometimes disappointed and bored, or because you can't find the right way to practice and to find the real information, especially from someone who's professional like you. Thank you, Dr. Rania.
Thank you, Dina. It's really a pleasure for me, and your words today and during the last conversation was so comforting. Thank you a lot. It's really means a lot for me. Thank you.
Thank you,
So,
Doctor.
thank you all, and see you next week, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay,
Please,
goodbye.
please,
Yeah.
the one who would like to join the interpretation, write me privately, because I would like to make a group. Even Mr. Firas don't want to, but it's really somehow it's not practical when I write to the whole group who don't even care about this session. So I prefer to have this small group where we can share the information and exchange the adequate information for our practice session. And whoever would like to join, we will add them upon request. So thank you and have a great evening, night for you. It's 3 p.m. for me. And wish you all the luck. Have a wonderful week all. Thank you for assisting.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night,